WheelchairTraveling.com presents Manhattan, New York. My first time in Manhattan was all I wanted it to be.
Taxi, Vince, picture.
Traffic, the noise, the smells, the architecture, the expectations, and more. After only 3 short days in Manhattan, I understood why people want to come here. There is just something about this place. Perhaps it is that every block is its own neighborhood with everything you need. Streets slope towards the water, which could last for blocks. Plus, blocks can be very long themselves. Curb cuts or sidewalk ramps were almost everywhere. But some areas lacked smooth transitions. There were parts of the financial district that surprised me, as it was obvious that the sidewalks were new, but there was no curb cut out. Access denied. If you use a manual chair, extra power will be needed in the long run. Or you can take public transportation and give yourself a break. Accessible public transportation options do exist, but like many cities in the 21st century, access has its limitations, especially when it comes to the subway. Gaps from the platform to the train vary drastically, and not every station is accessible. And those that are, cross your fingers that the elevator is working. Buses have front-loading ramps and designated spaces for wheelchairs. The most convenient way to get around Manhattan is with an accessible taxi. As your first or last item to do, take one of the many ferry rides to see the classic Manhattan skyline. There are a few ferries to choose from, but the Staten Island ferry is the only one that is free. Ramps at the dock vary in slope based on the tide. The possibilities in Manhattan seem endless, unless you're looking for isolation. And if this is the case, you are in the wrong city. Manhattan is about people, all kinds of people, everywhere, but also art, culture, history, and sports. Some neighborhoods are denser than others, and some more colorful. I really enjoyed exploring all the green spaces, which are all over Manhattan. Some are more hidden than others, but open to everyone. At times, accessible ramps were hard to find, or exceptionally steep, seen here in the Upper East Side. The Riverside Park runs parallel to the Hudson River for miles. This path is nice and flat. Washington Square Park is another park to see. It is very popular for tourists and locals to gather, some even playing music. It had a chill, see and be seen vibe going on. Not too far from Washington Square Park is a green space called the High Line. A few elevators can take you up to the walkway that was originally designed for train travel. Some of the original tracks are still there and a part of the ambiance. As I strolled with the crowd, I couldn't help but think, wow, what a genius use for this space. Of course, the most iconic green space in all of Manhattan is Central Park. For the most part, the outer rim of the park is relatively flat. But as you work your way in, you'll find more and more inclines. And some stairs. Some sections were so steep that after pushing about 100 blocks per day, I was eager to ask the first person I saw for some help. Very close to Central Park are some of Manhattan's finest museums. The Guggenheim is a multi-level spiraling art museum, where some could easily spend a few hours. I suggest taking the elevator to the top and working your way down. For manual wheelchairs, this is a must. You'll also find accessible restrooms here, as well as at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The wheelchair accessible entrance and exit is clearly marked with signs. To see everything at the Met in one day is challenging, let alone taking your time to actually enjoy it, because there is so much to see. Inside is a maze of rooms. And not every route is accessible. There are elevators though, one that will even take you up to the rooftop. At times, finding the accessible route is confusing, so be sure to pick up one of the access maps when you enter the museum. If you are into the arts, then you may be interested in seeing a performance at the Lincoln Center. I experienced top-notch access and floor seats to see the New York Philharmonic. Seeing a Broadway show at one of the 40-plus theaters is a popular way to go. I experienced good access at the Majestic Theater, from the automatic doors to the great seating. In the Midtown Times Square area, you can also be a part of a live audience. But if you want to see celebrities and models, then just cruise around because they are everywhere. Shopping in Manhattan is plentiful, and for the most part, accessible. Times Square is the most famous. So famous that it feels like everyone in Manhattan is here. This wasn't a place I was interested in spending much time at, but it does have many international clothing companies, the Naked Cowboy, and a bunch of other characters. And nearby is the Theater District's shopping court, open daily. Bleecker Street is in the older and more eclectic area of the West Village. Street vendors spread out along the sidewalk on Bleecker Street. Some older buildings didn't have access to shops and restaurants, but I was really surprised how many did. And sometimes there is a ramp inside that can be brought out, but varied in effectiveness. The way this restaurant handled ramp service was impressive, making it happen. Food is an experience in Manhattan. Everything I had was good. Especially the pizza. Set, multi-course meals are common at the finest restaurants, so check and make sure you get what you want. Outdoor seating is common throughout the city, even in the fall, which is often easier to access. For a quick meal or snack, you will find various food carts, gourmet grocery stores, and delis all over the city. I didn't get around to trying a hot dog. Maybe next time. I would also like to thank the boys in blue who volunteered to carry me up a flight of stairs in order to see St. Patrick's Cathedral because the ramp was blocked by construction. Good people are out there, and it is such a joy to meet some of them on my travels. One local explains, there is a sense of community and looking out for one another. Keep looking out for one another, New York. It's your best quality. There's still more to see. I'll be back.